Hey Canucks fans, hope you're well. USA Hockey earlier this morning announced the 44 players invited to their men's Olympic orientation camp. We're going to talk about the Vancouver Canucks that were invited and the Vancouver Canucks that were not. Let's start with the obvious one. Quinn Hughes, our captain, our superstar, our favorite player. He was actually named as one of the first 6 guys. You might remember all the countries earlier this summer, they did these big announcements, these much ballyhooed social media announcements on the first 6 players, and Quinn Hughes was one of the first 6 for Team USA, joining Jack Eichel, Austin Matthews, Charlie McAvoy, Brady Tkachuk, and Matthew Tkachuk. So there's no surprise that Quinn Hughes was therefore part of this orientation camp list. Of course, he's going to make it as being one of the first 6, and he looks to be a lock to be maybe even assistant captain, but certainly first pairing. First D pairing guy, first power play unit. We know all the great reasons, all the amazing attributes that he has, why he is such a good player. And obviously Team USA knows that. Obviously the world knows that, or is going to know that. So we don't spend too much time talking about Quinn Hughes, because I think that was certainly a lock, especially considering he was named as one of the first 6 earlier this summer. The other Vancouver Canuck, if you don't know this list and you didn't know what I was going to talk about, would you say it was Thatcher Demko? Would you say it was Brock Boeser? Or would you say it was Conor Garland? By the way, you can't say JT Miller because he's an ex-Canuck, and yes, JT Miller is on the list. It's actually Conor Garland. So Conor Garland is the second Vancouver Canuck named to this Team USA Olympic orientation roster. And a bit of a surprise, and I want to kind of contrast this to Brock Boeser, who was not on this list. Neither was Thatcher Demko, and we'll end off with him. So let's talk about Garland vis-a-vis Boeser. Now, full declaration and full transparency, Brock Boeser is my favorite current Canucks player, and I'm very happy that they signed him to a long-term deal. But I could sit here and say that Brock Boeser is not one of the best 12 or 13 forwards, American-born forwards in the NHL. But I can sit here and say that Conor Garland is also not one of the 12 or 13 best U.S.-born players in the NHL. And I get it. There's 24 forwards listed here because you want to, I want to make sure you're not missing anyone. You want to give everyone a fair shot. And it's an honor to be named to go to this camp, to be invited to this camp. And I also get that there are players that maybe are not on this list that might have amazing starts to their seasons, and maybe they get some late consideration. But anyone that's not on this list, we got to admit they're already starting, at a disadvantage. They're kind of starting from behind, so to speak, because these guys are invited to the camp. They're named to go to the camp, and that's who at least USA has their initial eyes on for sure. So Conor Garland is on this list, and yeah, let's give props to Conor Garland. He has been a workhorse with the Vancouver Canucks ever since getting traded here a few years ago. He has been a really good teammate. He's been good with the media. And he also signed a new extension as well this past summer, much like Brock Boeser. Well, Brock Boeser, he was a UFA, where Conor Garland was still 1 year away from being an unrestricted free agent. And Garland, like I said, has been good in the last 4 seasons with the Canucks. So consistent. Look at this, 77, 81, 82, and 81 games. He's only missed 6 games as a Vancouver Canuck make that 7 games as a Vancouver Canuck over 5 seasons. Over 4 seasons. Let's try that again. He has only missed 7 games over 4 seasons. That is very darn impressive and so consistent. His point totals over those 4 years, 52, 46, 47, and 50. Again, 52, 46, 47, 50. So always between 46 and 52 points, and always his goal total, very consistent, 19, 17, 20, 19. So he scored between 17 and 20 goals, and he's got between 46 and 52 points, and he's played between 77 and 82 games over the past 4 seasons. We know that he works really hard. I always joke around, sometimes he looks busier than he actually is, but no, I've come to really grow and love Conor Garland's game. And I think he'd be a very important piece for the Vancouver Canucks as their second line right winger. And it's great that it's really, really good. And I'm very happy for him that he got this recognition from Team USA. But if he's the second line right winger, who's our first line right winger? Well, that would be Brock Boeser. So I'm surprised that Boeser at least didn't even get a look. And it's not even about former chemistry with JT Miller, although that is something. But is he one of the top 24 forwards in the USA right now, let alone the top 12 or 13? Is he one of the top 24? He's even better than Conor Garland. So Boeser, if you want to contrast his stats to Garland, Boeser has actually been quite, we talk about his durability. He's been actually pretty good last 4 seasons as a comparable: 71, 74, 81, and 75 games. So he did have an 81 game season 2 seasons ago, and then he went 71, 74, and 75. So yes, he's missed a bit more than Garland, but it's not like his game totals are in the 50s or 60s. His points a bit better: 46, 55, 73, and 50. So 3 of the seasons kind of in line with Conor Garland, 46, 55, and 50. But Boeser had that amazing season 2 seasons ago when the Canucks made the playoffs, scoring 73 points in 81 games. Now, Boeser is not as quick as Conor Garland. He might not be as tenacious as Conor Garland, but he's probably a better goal scorer, and he's a bigger body. So, again, who knows? The Olympics are still a year away, and who knows what what Team USA was looking for as they don't just pick 24 guys. They kind of look at the whole mix of how they want to play and what kind of identity they want to have. But again, I'm just surprised that Brock Boeser did not at least get a preliminary look, even if he didn't make the team eventually, but then Conor Garland did. So then you wonder, are there any other forwards that could have, Boeser could have made it over? I'll go through: Boldy, Caulfield, Cooley, Conor, Eichel, Garland, Genso, Hughes, Kane, Keller, Matthew Nyes, Kreider. Then we got Larkin, Matthews, Miller, Nazar, Nelson, Pinto, Robertson, Rust, Thompson, Kachuk, Trocheck, and Tuck. So those are the 24 forwards. Maybe he's better than Chris Kreider. Maybe he's more proven than, say, Frank Nazar or whatever it may be. So there's there's a few people that you could argue that Boeser could have been put ahead of. But, I'm not upset about it. I'm just kind of surprised that Boeser didn't make it. And I'm kind of surprised that Garland made it and Boeser didn't. And, obviously, except for Petey, all the Canucks' best players are American. And back when we had Miller, I know we talked about, could all 5 of them be in consideration of Hughes, Miller at the time, Boeser, Garland, and Demko. So no Boeser, but Garland is there along with Hughes. The other guy that did not make it was Thatcher Demko. Now I get it. He's got some injury problems. He had a horrible season last year. It actually started with the first game of the playoffs the season before, and he was he played fine when he was in the net, but he simply wasn't in the net long enough. And I know it's Connor Hellebuyck's job to lose, but in my mind, it was always going to be a 3-horse race for the 2 spots behind him between Demko, Ottinger, and Swayman. Well, Demko did not get an invite, but Seattle goaltender Joey Daccord did. Yes, Joey Daccord did get the 4th spot behind Hellebuyck, Ottinger, and Swayman. And again, Demko might have an amazing start to the season, prove that he's healthy, and then he might force his way into a tough decision for Team USA. But it does concern me a little bit that Demko didn't even get an invite to this orientation camp, because it's going to be Connor Hellebuyck, like I said, and then a battle between Ottinger and Swayman, I think. And I would want Demko in that mix, maybe put him over Swayman. Ottinger actually didn't have a good playoff. So who knows what Team USA is thinking in terms of goaltending, but I would have loved Thatcher Demko to be in the mix. So does that motivate Thatcher Demko to have a really good season? I'm more worried about him staying healthy, to be honest with you, but they kind of go hand in hand. He could have a really good start to the season and then force Team USA to give him a second look. So Canucks fans, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about Conor Garland making it to this. Again, this is just an orientation camp. It's not the team, right? You still got to beat out half the guys there. So let me know what you think about Conor Garland making it on this invitation list and Brock Boeser not. And then Thatcher Demko, do you kind of agree with Team USA given his spotty health over the past couple of years? Or do you still invite him over Joey Daccord, and then you have your top 4 of Hellebuyck, Swayman, Ottinger, and Demko? To me, that sounds a lot stronger than with Daccord. And then do you kind of just see where it goes from there? Or maybe Demko, I don't know if Demko would want, I'm sure he'd want to go, but then do you worry about him getting hurt there? No, I guess you can't really worry about that. It's an orientation. It's not like they're playing best on best just yet. So Canucks fans, let me know your thoughts. Quinn Hughes and Conor Garland in, Brock Boeser and Thatcher Demko out. Would love to know your thoughts in the comments below. Going to do my last live stream of this week tonight. So I hope you join me at 11 p.m. We'll talk a bit more about this. I want to talk a bit about the Rogers Arena fan experience as well as we look ahead to another season inside new comfy black chairs inside the arena. So 11 p.m. tonight. Hope you join me for my live stream. Shout out to my sponsors, Van Seat Experts Real Estate, Gassy Jack Art, and Coach Patrick Lee Weight Loss Coach. Thank you, legendary Lucas Gates, legendary Line Change, legendary Carol Bovenlander, legendary Brian Blingy Choi, legendary Andrew Chang, and to Hall of Fame franchise members, thanks to all of you members for your support. And thanks to all of you for watching, liking, subscribing. On your way out, like the video, subscribe, leave a donation. But most importantly, leave a comment down below your thoughts on the 2 Canucks that made it and the 2 Canucks that didn't make it to Team USA's Olympic orientation roster. Stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, and take care of each other. God bless, and go Canucks go.